So in this project, I have 2 tracks for the technically working episode that will drop tomorrow.
Michael, 34 items.
And
Pay on Innovations, 35 items.
Pay on Innovations is actually Damasi. Let's get him renamed by pressing F2.
Track name.
And I'm going to give him his name and press enter.
TW12 modified. Reaper V6.79. Registered to Michael Babcock.
Perfect.
License.
And so now if we press up
Michael, 34 items.
and down,
Damash, 35 items.
and this is what I need. So I'm going to go to the first track by pressing up until I hear my name.
Michael, 34 items.
And then
Open
in this
project.
instance,
Button.
I'm going to go ahead and hold the shift key down and tap the down arrow. And I'll explain to you why in a moment.
Selected Damash, 35 items.
So now we have 2 selected tracks. And what I want to do is render both of these tracks as their own independent tracks. So when I run it through Alphonic is able to tell me who said what when. And that's essential for accessibility. Let's press Command Option R.
Now in tab render to file. TW, $marker. Content selected, edit text.
And it says TW $marker. Yours will not say that, but let me write this how I want it to be. And what I want it to say is TW12, because at this time I don't have a name for this specific episode, dash with no spaces, and then I'm going to put $track. Now, if you press tab once,
Wildcards, button.
there's a wildcards button, and I'm going to show you this real quick because that's how I know that $track will actually insert the name of the track. If I press my VO space button,
Menu, 11 items.
there's 11 different submenus, and I'll go show you this real quick.
Project information, submenu.
If we go into project information, you can get things like
Project information, submenu 21 items, $project. $title. $author. $track.
And as you will see, there are plenty. There's 21 in that section. So as you can see, you can be very flexible with the way that you title your track. Now, this is a very complicated render dialog if you are not comfortable with Reaper. However, I'm going to show you a couple of things that make this super easy for me to navigate to configure the options that I want configured right now. So I'm going to press VO Home.
Source.
And this takes me to the very first item, and it says Source. If you press VO right arrow,
Master Mix. Pop-up button.
you can choose Master Mix. That's not what I want. I'm going to drop this down.
Menu, 10 items, checkmark, Master Mix.
And then we're going to go down until we find the option.
Selected tracks via master.
And then we'll press VO space.
Selected tracks via master. Pop-up button.
Now, one other thing I want to do is by default, Reaper is going to save the file type as a WAV file. Full transparency, I've changed my default project settings to actually save the file type as a FLAC instead of WAV. But by default, this is what it's going to do. So if you press VOI,
Item chooser menu, 73 items.
and then you type in the word WAV,
5 items. WAV. Pop-up button.
you'll hear pop-up button. We'll press VO space once to move focus to that pop-up button and a second time to trigger it.
WAV. Menu, 14 items, checkmark, wave.
And I'm going to type FL.
FLAC.
And we'll press VO space.
FLAC. Pop-up button.
And then if we press VO end,
Save settings, button.
you can save the render dialog settings, but that's not what I want. I want to VO left arrow twice.
Can't render 22 files, default button.
And as you can see, it says render 22 files, default button. What? Shouldn't that only be 2? Yeah, it should be, but Michael made a mistake. So let's press VO home again,
Source.
and then press VO right arrow once,
Selected tracks via master. Pop-up
which is fine, but let's press VO right arrow again.
Bounce.
Bounce. What do you want to bounce out of this project?
All project markers. Pop-up button.
So since I have 11 project markers and 2 tracks selected, Reaper's going to give me 22 files. 1 file for Damasi, 1 file for myself, for each marker. And then I can go in and run those through Alphonic. In this instance, that's not what I want. So I'm going to press VO space on this drop down.
Menu, 7 items, checkmark, all project markers.
And then I'm going to press VO home.
Custom time range.
And I'm going to press VO down.
Entire project.
And we'll press VO space.
Entire project. Pop-up button.
Now, if you press VO end,
Save settings, button.
and then VO left arrow twice,
Can't render 2 files, default button.
and you would press VO space on this render 2 files. But I've already rendered these files for today, so if you haven't yet, stay tuned to the Unmute podcast feed. We're going to drop for you Technically Working tomorrow morning, and hopefully you'll enjoy this content, or go subscribe to Technically Working on your favorite podcast platform. Have a beautiful day, and thanks for being subscribed. Thanks to Andre Louis and his shorts collection for the music used in this episode.